My name is Vivek, and the question which I had was, why is race such a big issue in America? In the rest of the world, it's not as big an issue.
What? Why is race a big issue?
In America. In the rest of the world, it's not as big an issue.
Okay, because look, there are two things that happened here that we're still dealing with. This is actually a really cool question. Where are you from in India, by the way?
South India.
South India? Okay, so listen. Why is race still a big issue here? Because this is where, in the Americas, is where we had the longest lasting, most extensive genocide in human history against Native Americans. And we've never come to terms with that. And, to this day, if you ask Americans how many tribes there are and how many Native Americans is, many people think they don't even exist anymore and so on, right? And do you know how many tribes there are in the United States? Federally recognized tribes? Take a guess.
Federally recognized or totally?
Federally recognized tribes.
2,000?
2,000? Pair up really fast. How many tribes? With your neighbor, how many tribes do you think there are federally recognized? How many, bro?
40.
40.
200.
How many?
200.
200. How many?
I don't know.
What?
6, 7.
6, 7? Bro, how many, man?
100.
How many?
150.
150, bro.
Less than 500.
Less than 500.
About 1,000.
1,000. What do you think?
Like 300.
300?
Less than 100.
This is really fascinating. Bro, because you started with 2,000, the numbers get really inflated. Because when we ask people this question, and we give them a bunch of numbers, and we start at 3, and we go to 3 and 7 and 50 and so on and so forth, the average answer will be like 15. But since you started with so many, the average answers start to go up. The answer is over almost 600, right? So, bro, what's that? 566, yeah.
One of the most recent was actually Pocahontas' tribe, which we all know her, one of the last to be recognized by the U.S. federal government.
So, what we see, one of the issues is the longest lasting genocide in human history took place here, and it's most extensive. In terms of the numbers of people and in terms of how long it lasted, and human beings are still trying to deal with that. The second issue is slavery, which we've never been able to deal with. Do you want to respond to the Native American thing? Because I'm going to talk about it. Yeah.
Also, to add on to what Sam said, this country was founded on racism, and that's undisputable. I think. And when we talk about the transatlantic slave trade, that's when the idea of race was created. It was used to justify why you're dehumanizing, animalizing, and the way you treat other people. And I think, when we talk about the founding of this country and the U.S. Constitution, it's written in the fabric of America. And I think, other places don't have these problems because other places didn't have civil rights movements like we did in America, which tried to address that issue. But it's something that is constantly evolving because the idea of race changes based on where you're at. Like when Irish people came here, they weren't considered white until after a while, or when people from Italians either. So I think that is very complex, and I think you have to look at slavery and understand why race was created in the first place.
Dude, do you want to add to that? What's your name, bro?
It's Arsh.
Arsh.
Another thing I want to add, I'm from India too, and one of the big things,
Hold the mic close.
India's
Turn around toward the mic toward the camera. Wait, step this way, back up, so people in back can see your smiling face.
So India's a new country. They only gained their independence in
1947.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1947.
Dude, he's like busy, you know what I mean? Yeah, okay, go ahead.
So when India broke up and what is now Pakistan, there were genocides between Hindus and Muslims and Sikhs. Both sides were just killing each other. It was a big thing, and India's come to terms with that. They've acknowledged it already. In 1984, there were anti-Sikh riots. Just a couple of months ago, India apologized for that. They accepted it. So I think that's why, like, at least for India, race isn't as huge of an issue. But in the U.S., like, trust me, I love this country because I see the potential in it, and I can compare it to India. But in the U.S., the war on drugs, you know, the war on black people, the war on drugs, slavery, there's so many issues that have just not been talked about by our government. You know, even today, the war on drugs just keeps capturing, we're all targeting a specific race of people, and it's just not, you know, there's so many issues that aren't coming out to light because the government doesn't bring them out to light. And for me personally, when I compare India and the U.S., I think that's why race is such a big deal here. You know, my family asks me the same question all the time, and I think that's
How
the
is it
biggest-
so big? Yeah. How is it so? Yo, very cool, man. Thanks, bro. Here's where I would say, listen,